All rise, please, at this time. The Honorable Martina Clark.
Will the prosecuting attorney please present your case?
Yes, Your Honor, thank you so much. It is my intent to prove today that the three defendants on trial all played a definitive part in the downfall of man. This is Adam, Eve, and the serpent. And my testimonies today will prove beyond a shadow of a doubt that they are all guilty.
And you're in?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to call the first defendant, and that is Adam. Adam, would you come to the stand, please, to be sworn in by the bailiff?
Do you swear to tell her the truth, nothing but the truth?
Yeah.
I promise.
I mean, yeah, that's close enough.
All right. Very good.
Oh, he waving now.
Yeah.
Okay. You are Adam, correct?
Yes.
And Adam, God created you, correct?
Yes, he did.
Placed you in the Garden of Eden where you had everything you needed, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Now, did God give you any specific instructions after placing you in the garden on what to do or what not to do?
Yes, he did.
Okay, and what were these instructions?
He told me not to eat from the tree, knowledge of the tree, but I can partake in all the other fruits of the tree, just not that one.
Okay, Adam, did you share these instructions with anyone? Your Honor, please instruct the defendant to answer the question.
Please answer the question.
I'm not sure if I did or not.
Adam, I will ask the question again. Did you share these instructions with anyone? You are under oath.
Objection, Your Honor. Believing the witness.
I'm pleading the fifth on that one, and along the lines I may incriminate myself.
Okay, all right. I believe that you share these with your wife Eve, and that's part of why we're all here today. So I want to project and conjecture, if I may, Your Honor. Okay, I proceed that since there was no email and no Facebook and no texting available to you, that the words that I believe you said came directly out of your mouth to Eve. There was no phone, so she couldn't have been distracted by the phone. There was no cooking or cleaning to do, no bills to pay, no children to watch. And I would like to say that I believe that she heard what you said to her. That there couldn't have been that much on her mind that she didn't hear what you said to her. So, to understand that one simple instruction that you received from God, you had no distractions as well. So, you had no one else to talk to. So, something this important, I believe that you shared this with her and that she understood what you said. So, I have another question. Did you also eat of the fruit of the forbidden tree?
Yes, I did.
Okay. Why?
Because it was good.
But how did you know it was good before you tasted it, Adam? So why, knowing God's instructions, did you eat of the fruit of the tree?
Because I had a helpmate, Eve, and she shouldn't have brought anything to me that would hurt me.
Okay. But Adam, has God given you free will? Aren't you responsible for you? Does Eve force you to do things or tell you everything that you should or shouldn't do? Is Eve the boss of you?
In our case, we're married. She's part of me, so we're one. So we agree with our agreement and everything. We make her all together.
No more questions, Your Honor.
Would you like to cross-examine the witness?
I would. Mr. Adam,
Yes.
would you tell me, when you received the instruction, was Eve present?
No, she wasn't.
And why is that?
Because whenever I first received instruction, Eve was not created yet. It was just me, and I received instruction from God.
Thank you. Tell me what was going on when Eve came to you with the fruit.
Eve said that she was in the middle of the garden, and she stumbled upon a beautiful tree that looked pleasing to her eyes.
Did she ask you to try it?
Yes, she did.
Did you ask her if it was from the tree of the knowledge of Eve?
Yes, I did. I did ask her, and she told me that it was from the tree of knowledge, but she said that the serpent told her that it would not hurt us, that if we ate of that tree, that we would see and know like God.
Has Eve ever lied to you before?
No, Eve never lied to me. When God sent Eve to me, she always have told me the truth, and I don't believe God would send me somebody that would lie and do harm to me.
Why do you think she told you something that the devil told her?
She told me on the ground so I would have understanding and know what I was about to do.
What did you do when God confronted you about being disobedient?
I told the truth, because it says in the word that when a man covers his sins that he won't prosper.
Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Would you like to cross-examine the
Yes,
witness?
I would. Oh, Adam.
Yes.
So, you are a truthful man, huh?
Yes.
So, did God tell you not to eat the fruit, or did he tell you guys together?
He told me specifically, and I believe he told me on the grounds that I would share it also with my wife.
But in the word it says that she told the serpent that God told her not to eat from that particular tree. So how did he tell you and then tell her without you knowing that he told her?
Well, God's voices must be so powerful, I guess it was just spread across the land, so she must have heard it too.
Okay. And you said that you ate the fruit because it looked good, and it was good, huh?
It was good. I'm still trying to figure out was it a fruit or a vegetable.
So from that answer, I take it that you were kind of contemplating whether you should eat it or not, because if you were lusting after the fruit, then you must have had some type of mind frame that you wanted to try it and eat it because you thought it looked good after God told you not to eat it.
Yeah, but we were under an impression that it would not be harmful to us.
But God told you not to eat it specifically, so why wouldn't it be harmful? Why would you have to sneak and do it? How come you didn't ask God?
Well, God, he sees all and knows all, so I don't believe we were sneaking. I believe he seen us when we was doing it.
Yeah, I know he's seen you too, but you did sneak because you covered yourself with figs and trees and stuff like that after you had ate it. No further questions.
Yes, ma'am. Adam, just have a couple questions for you.
Are they gonna be long?
I'd like to ask first, has Eve been a good helpmate to you?
up to this point.
Did you have all of the trees and animals named before the Lord brought you Eve?
Yes.
So you knew each one that was in the garden. You were familiar with them all?
Yes, I was.
So when Eve brought you this fruit, it had to have looked different from the other fruits of the garden.
Objection, Your Honor, leading the witness.
Sustained.
Let me rephrase that. Did the fruit look different than that of the pear tree, of the fig tree, of the pomegranate tree?
I'm still trying to figure out what is a fruit.
But it did look different, is what you're saying. Not sure what it looked like, but it was different.
Yes.
So you knew when she brought it to you that it was not the fig, the pomegranate.
Objection,
On what grounds?
leading the witness.
Sustained.
Since you knew the difference, since you named all the trees, then I would say that you knew what was being given to you and
Objection.
you took of it.
On what grounds?
Leading the witness.
Overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. Last question.
Thank you, Your Honor.
As Eve is your helpmate and she brought this fruit to you, you being the man which is the head of the household, why did you not tell Eve? The Lord said no, no matter what the serpent told her.
Well, God put me and Eve in the garden together, and since she's already partake of the vegetable or fruit, whichever one it was, I didn't want to leave her alone by herself. And how could two walk together except we agree? So I didn't want to leave her there separately, so we just went ahead and did it together.
That's all.
Your Honor, the defense counsel moves for a directed verdict of not guilty on the grounds that this is supposed to be the trial of Adam and Eve, and even Eve's lawyer has put him on trial and not her.
Well, you will hear from Eve next. Will Eve please come to the stand?
To tell the whole truth, nothing.
I promise. You may proceed.
Okay. This is a very lovely young lady here on today. She is the wife of Adam. And I just have a couple of questions. Eve, did you or did you not receive and understand the instructions that Adam shared with you about the tree in the midst of the garden? Yes or no?
Yes.
Okay. After you disobeyed, you maybe felt a little guilty, thinking maybe if I get Adam, God's man, to take part in this, I won't be in so much trouble. God really loves Adam. Surely he won't punish Adam. And maybe I can get away with it too. But you were wrong. Once you both ate, you knew immediately that something had gone horribly wrong. No more questions, Your Honor.
That wasn't a question.
Order. Would you like to cross-examine?
Yes, ma'am. Eve, can you tell me what happened, the events of the day that all of this took place?
Well, I was in the garden, and this beautiful little creature that God created came up to me, and we had a conversation, and he brought to my attention this beautiful tree that had beautiful fruit.
And what did this creature say to you when he brought this to your attention?
That it would be okay if I ate of it. It would bring me knowledge.
What had been told to you previously?
That if I ate from it, that I would die.
And he told you,
That I wouldn't die.
okay, why was it different this day than any other day? Had this creature ever talked to you before?
No?
No? Okay. Did you feel at ease with the creature?
Yes.
Okay. Had the creature ever talked to Adam? Don't you know it? Okay. So when you decided that you would partake of the fruit of this tree, you did know that this tree was the one that you weren't supposed to partake of. And the fruit on this tree did not look like any other?
No.
No. Okay. So, for your understanding, you did know that this was the tree you weren't supposed to eat of, so therefore, when you ate of it, did you feel like you were going to trick Adam by taking him the fruit?
No, not really tricking them. No.
No. Did you feel any different when you first took a bite?
No, not at first.
But you knew that you didn't die,
Right.
so you thought it was safe?
Yes.
Okay, that's...
Eve, prior to eating this fruit, had you ever lied to Adam?
No.
Had you ever tried to get him to do something that he maybe didn't want to do?
No.
Was there any difference after you ate the fruit?
In time. Yes.
In time?
So nothing immediately, but in time.
Well, I guess I'm having a hard time understanding why there would be a difference in time. That it takes, I would think if there was an effect, it would have been instantaneous.
It wasn't immediately.
That-
Not when I did. When I first took them.
How, has Adam always been willing to do what you asked him to do?
Yes.
And if he didn't do something, how did that make you feel?
Well, it never happened.
Never happened.
No.
So this only happened after you ate the fruit then?
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. No further questions.
Would you like to comment on this?
So, Eve, are you an honest woman?
Yes.
Are you manipulative?
No.
Are you dangerous?
No.
So how would you describe Adam?
He's a very nice, kind, true man of God.
Does he follow behind you? Does he listen to your every needs and wants and commandments?
No, I don't have commands.
So how would he instruct you to do something? Would he ask you nicely, or would he be trembling asking you something?
Nicely. We work together.
Okay. So why did you eat that particular fruit?
Because this beautiful little creature come to me and convinced me that it was okay.
So he convinced you that it was okay after the creator told you that it wasn't okay.
Yeah, but he was created and sent by the creator.
But the creator himself told you not to eat it, so why would you listen to a third party?
Plead the fifth.
Okay, no further questions, Eve.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now we'd like to call the serpent.
Promise. To tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth.
Of course.
Okay.
I have the prosecuting attorney.
Thank you, Your Honor. Now, Mr. Devil, you have quite a reputation down throughout history. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, you're also known as the serpent,
Yes.
the deceiver, the devil, the great dragon, Satan.
Aren't those awful harsh?
How many aliases do you have? How many aliases?
I think I was originally named Lucifer.
All right,
That sounds so much
Lucifer.
kinder.
All right. Before I proceed with my questioning, Your Honor, I would like to make a quote from the Holy Bible.
Proceed.
Revelations 12, starting at verse 7 says, "And there was war in heaven. Michael and his angels fought against the dragon, and the dragon fought against his angels, and prevailed not. Neither was their place found any more in heaven. And the great dragon was cast out, that old serpent called the devil, And Satan, which deceived the whole world, ladies and gentlemen, deceived the whole world. He was cast out into the earth, and his angels were cast out with him. And I heard a loud voice saying in heaven, now comes salvation and strength and the kingdom of our God and the power of his Christ. For the accuser of our brethren is cast down, which accused them before our God day and night. Thank you, Your Honor. So, Satan, Lucifer, whatever you would like to be called. So, what about that? You couldn't get along with anybody in heaven. You thought you were better than anybody in heaven. You thought you were above following the instructions. So you were cast out. You wanted to make sure that man whom God gave free will did not follow God's instructions either. Is that correct?
Oh,
Is that correct? Your Honor, please
will?
instruct the defendant to answer the question.
Objection, Your Honor.
they-
Badgering
they
the
had
witness.
free will. We just talked.
How did you sustain? Okay. Since you had a vendetta against God and anything that had anything to do with God, I would like to present before this court that you, knowing how God felt about Adam and about Eve, and it's clear to know because God laid everything out in front of them that they would ever need, that you, in a jealous state of rage, set out to tempt this woman and to lead her husband in a deception.
Objection, Your Honor. Blaming the witness for someone else's fall.
Overruled.
Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you, Your Honor. Set out to cause them to fall, and this preceded the downfall of man. And by this, I proclaim that you, along with Adam and Eve. Okay. No more questions, Your Honor.
Would you like to cross it back?
I still didn't hear the question.
Would you like to?
Yes, I would. Hello. How are you doing today?
Well, we're in court.
Yes, we are. So, I have a few questions for you, and then I'll let you get your piece. Okay. First of all, so they call you Satan, the deceiver, and all this. So, with that being said, do you feel like you are doing your job?
Yeah, I feel like I'm doing my job.
So, why should the court punish an innocent man for doing his job, Your Honor? Why
Objection.
should we?
Your Honor,
On what grounds?
the attorney is assuming that Mr. Devil is innocent, and it's not been determined yet whether he's innocent or not.
Sustained.
Okay.
Well, I never claimed to be innocent of all things.
Thank you, Satan. Thank you. So you're doing your job as diligent as you can. So why should he have to be punished for someone else's downfall? Why should he have to be sentenced to something that he was only doing merely just to be doing his job?
Objection.
On what grounds?
Is there a question here?
Yes, it's coming. Oh, it's coming, Your Honor. It's coming.
Okay.
It's coming.
Get to it.
So do you feel that you were wrong for tempting Eve?
Oh, I don't think I was wrong for having a conversation.
Amen. So you think that Eve
I mean, I was cast down to earth, so if I was cast down to earth, I had to have something to amuse myself with.
I agree, but I think that Eve, and correct me if I'm wrong, Eve was weak-minded and you got in really quickly.
I would agree that sometimes humanity can be.
And from that, Eve got to Adam.
He was with her.
Yes, he was with her. And so I think that from that being said, that it's Eve and Adam's, not Satan. I rest my case. No more questions.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
Objection. His name is Satan.
Whatever you
Would you
prefer.
like to be called?
Oh, well, it don't matter.
Sir. So the question I have before you is, why on this particular day did you choose to talk to my client? You'd never talked to her before.
So she says.
So why do you think that she would talk back to you? Why did you even approach her today?
Oh, it just seemed like the right time.
Okay. Do you know what the Lord has said? Are you aware of that He talked to Adam?
Objection, objection, objection.
On what grounds?
He knows the word of God, so he knows this. This question is irrelevant to the case.
Let me phrase it in another way. Is there any reason for you to believe that they didn't know what the Lord had already told them?
Objection.
On what grounds?
He asked Eve, what did the Lord say? And she told him what the Lord said. So again, this question is not even rational.
One more question, Your Honor. Just one.
Proceed.
Why on this day did you twist the Lord's words?
Objection. He didn't twist any words. He asked Eve what the Lord told her. And then he asked her a question, surely you won't die. Asking her, will she die? She knew she would, so that's not even a question either.
Your Honor, we'd like to hear it from the witness's mouth.
But it's in the Word of
We'll
God.
just hear what the witness has to say.
Thank you.
Could you please repeat the question?
Why on this day did you change the words of the Lord?
Oh, Benz, I'm guilty of so many things. Because I truly am jealous of Adam and Eve. Because I was kicked out of my first estate. And if I'm kicked out of my first estate, why shouldn't humanity be kicked out of theirs?
No further questions.
Would you like to cross that in the vote? Proceed.
Again, the prosecutor went to great lengths to establish all these titles that you have. Isn't one of those titles the father of lies?
Objection. He has not been considered a liar yet.
That's in the word. Please answer the question.
Yes, that's one of them. Your Honor, I move to dismiss this witness on the grounds that he cannot tell the truth in this courtroom, and therefore this chain to Adam is broken. From him to her, it's gone.
Objection. Objection.
Humanity lies. Then we could all be kicked out of the courtroom because humanity lies.
I object that he cannot be dismissed as a witness because he is a defendant.
Your Honor, this whole proceeding is irregular. You cannot have somebody acting as witness, defendant, everything all at once.
I object.
The prosecutor.
Order! We'll have order in my courtroom.
I have an objection. You heard me. Most honorable
Kangaroo court!
I will hold you in contempt. Proceed.
I hold that since they were each there, they could all be defendants and they could all serve as witnesses as well.
So stay.
Thank you.
Objection, Your Honor, you cannot be forced in a court of law to testify against yourself.
Objection. That's what I plead the fifth means.
No, I plead the fifth means that you will not testify to put yourself in jeopardy.
Yeah, so I plead that he should plead the fifth on every question.
First against your honor.
Attorney for the
And the attorney for Adam, please step forward. Does anyone else have any questions for Lucifer? Well, if there are no further questions, do you have a final statement?
I do, Your Honor. As prosecuting attorney, I do exercise my right as a final statement. In restating my case, I would like to once again say that I believe that Satan, Adam, and Eve all played a part, maybe some more than others. I'm sorry, witness, you cannot speak at this time. This is my summation, and I hope that the judge will consider that none of them are innocent. This I can say in my submission. I can say anything in my submission. No objections. All right. Okay. And because each of them played a part, this caused the downfall of man, and I hope that the judgment will consider all of this, because it's from that point that sin entered in. And because sin entered in, sin separated man from God. And Jesus, thank God for Jesus. When he came, he knocked sin out of the way if we be so willing that we can be returned in a right relationship with God. And I ask that the court and everyone consider these, and back in your hands, Judge Honorable, most honorable, highly esteemed Judge Clark.
Second up. Right.
Do you have any final words?
Yes. Thank you, Honorable Judge Clark, for having us here. We appreciate your time and we appreciate your ruling, because we know that you're fair. We know that you're very stern about your words, and we know that you're going to lock the wrong two people up. Okay, in my closing statement, I would like to recap everything. Eve came up to the host, she said her few words. She misled the whole audience and the judge. Adam did too, so he's just as wrong. But my client, he was just doing his job. Punish an innocent man for doing his job, for going to work. Sacrifice after sacrifice, you're going to punish an innocent man for just doing his job. And from the looks of it, amen to you. And from the looks of it, sorry. And from the looks of it, these two already had this established in their mind that they were going to eat the fruit, because they said that the fruit looked good and they were wondering about it anyway. So, what would have happened if Satan had not said anything? They were wondering about the fruit anyway. Would they have ate it? Or would they have just let it go? I guess that question will never be answered, because he came and tricked them anyway. So, that's all I have to say.
Would Eve's attorney have final words?
Yes, ma'am.
We shall keep it to 1 minute. No more flattery. I already know I have a good hair day.
What I'd like to say is that my client was walking through the garden like any other day, admiring the work that God put out there for them to be rulers over. Looking at the trees and the animals, minding her own business. When the serpent beguiled her, the serpent tricked her and charmed her and deceived her to make her believe it was okay to do what the Lord asked her not to do. She was deceived. He comes to deceive us all. We all have to be leery of what he has to say. She just happened to stumble that day. We can't pin it all on her. It wasn't all her fault. He did do his job. He did trick her. I ask that the court have mercy on Eve for being tricked by the deceiver of the brethren.
Thank you. Attorney for Adam, please step forward. 1 minute.
Thank you, Your Honor. I think we've we've established, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I think we've established that the father of lies began this whole process, deceived Eve, and she deceived her husband, which she was incapable of doing before she ate the fruit. And in the final call, the prosecutor has brought up the name of Jesus Christ. And Jesus went to the cross so that there would be a way to be forgiven for all of these sins. And I submit that Adam is not guilty by virtue of either.
Would the serpent, the woman, and Adam please step forward? The woman. Please stand.
Oh, that's right, that's right.
And please face the jury. Would the serpent please step out? How do you plead? Serpent?
How do I plead?
Yes.
Not guilty.
Okay. And this is your judgment. Because you have done this foul thing, you shall be cursed above all cattle and every beast of the field. Upon your belly you shall go, and dust you shall eat all the days of your life. I will put enmity between you and Eve, and between thy seed and her seed. It will bruise your head, and you shall bruise his heel. You may step back. And would Eve please step forth? How do you plead? Please answer the
Guilty.
question. Guilty? And this is your judgment. I will greatly multiply your sorrow and your conception. In sorrow you shall bring forth children, and your desire shall be to your husband, and he shall rule over thee. Please step back. And Adam, please step forward. How do you plead?
Not guilty, I am the victim, Your Honor.
And this is your judgment. Because you have hearkened unto the voice of thy wife, and hast eaten of the tree of which I commanded thee, which was God, not you. Thou shalt not eat of it. You'll be cursed for your sake. In sorrow you shall eat all the days of your life. Thorns also and thistles shall it bring forth to thee, and thou shalt eat the herb of the field. In thy sweat of thy face shalt thou eat bread, till thou return unto the ground. For out of it was thou taken, for dust thou art, and unto dust you shall return. So, all three please step forward. Adam, you will be driven out of Eden, and I will be placing cherubims on the east of the garden, and a flaming sword, which turned every way, to keep all three from the tree of life. You may be seated.
Thanks, attorney. I thought you were going to get me out of it.
That'll be $3,000, please.
I guess I better go to work.
I knew I could bring y'all down.
Good job. Good job.
All right. Okay, you may be seated.